I'm sorry, like Maryland cookies, you drive. I probably wouldn't be an actor anymore if I didn't have that. And I would often fall asleep to the sounds of monkeys fighting or something. A puppy throw up, a baby throw up, lots of throw up.
This is Mark Ota, the voice of Sun Wukong from the Game of the Year 2024 Black Myth Wukong, as well as main protagonist in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Ryonosuke. He's also worked on Dead Island 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Rise of the Ronin, and many others. Once an avid gamer as a child, he's only just started rediscovering his gaming roots at the same time as landing some of the biggest roles in gaming. We sat down with him to chat about how gaming has changed his life.
Which translates as white lover, which is just referring to the chocolate.
Another great reason to have them. How'd you get on?
I kicked their butts. It's the most delicious cheese you could ever imagine. Oh. No one needs
It's a fair argument. I mean, you're going to get ruined in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks for coming in.
No problem, happy to.
Right, before we dive into these bad boys, let's get your drink order first. What do you normally drink before you do like an acting session or a voiceover session?
Well, before an acting session, I need to make sure I'm awake. So I will have a coffee, and it used to be just black, but now I just put a little bit of soy milk in there just to soften the blow a little bit, you know.
Let's get to it then. Garçon, we have 2 black coffees and soy milk. Let's talk more importantly about the biscuits that you asked us to get you. What are these and why are they so important?
Well, they're delicious, that's number one. And well, they're both actually Japanese biscuits.
Yeah.
And this one is Kantori Mom. Are basically just the most delicious supermarket cookies that I used to eat when I was living there.
What are these?
Ooh, they're another level. These are like the most delicious kind of sandwich biscuits I've ever eaten in my life. So they're very well known in Japan, like a Shiroi Koibito, which translates as white lover, which is just referring to the chocolate.
Another great reason to have them. Okay, right. So let's save the white lover for when the coffee's in.
Yes.
Yeah? Let's try.
Oh, let's try Countryman.
Countryman. So while we're numbing down on these, how did you come into gaming through acting? What was that process like?
There was actually a talk at Equity, the Actors Union, that was given once by a guy called Gareth Taylor.
Yeah.
And he was working with a company called the Mocap Vaults, who gave training for motion capture specifically for actors. And I was like, oh, hold on a minute. I was a very physical performer and everything I did, and I used to do some martial arts and gymnastics here and there and stuff. And I was like, all right, that might suit me pretty well. And so I took the course, and then I remember I auditioned then for a game where they needed a zombie actor. It turned out to be Dead Island 2, and I worked on that game for 3 years pretty much. And so I did a lot of the zombie animation for Dead Island 2. When we did the early cutscenes, I think there was one in the beginning in an airplane where basically one person turns into a zombie and then bites another person, and that turns into a zombie and stuff. And when we filmed it, basically what happened was I was the initial zombie, and then I would bite someone else, and then I would be that person as a zombie. And then, so there was
every single.
So
Mark, move to the other seat.
Exactly. So literally, we were like, okay, you do this zombie, and then you become that zombie, and then I was the only zombie on that.
Can I get a selfie?
Actually, that led straight into the voiceovers because I tore my meniscus in 2020, and then I auditioned for a game.
You turned up on crutches, and they went.
And then it turned out to be Great Ace Attorney, which I then booked. So 2 months after my knee surgery, I recorded Great Ace Attorney, which was my first video game voiceover. Since then, then I got a voice agent and stuff.
So what was the process like for Black Myth Wukong?
Sometimes they send you a list and say, hey, pick some characters that you want to audition for. And I'll say, fine. And you just send some stuff, and then, say, oh, this works. And then I wasn't initially cast as Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
And then I did these other 2 characters, which are green cap martialist
and non-white.
And non-white.
And did they go this, but more monkey?
Pretty much.
Really? And at that point, you kind of went, well, I think I might know which character this is for then.
Yeah. Can I be a monkey? No, that's right. I actually, fun fact, grew up behind a zoo. So you could see from my kitchen giraffes' heads. And as in like in Cologne, I grew up in Cologne, right behind Cologne Zoo. And from our kitchen, the giraffes' heads were just bopping around, and I would often fall asleep to the sounds of monkeys fighting or something. So I was like, this is meant to be.
It's in your DNA. It's in your
it is
subconscious.
in my DNA.
Yeah.
You know, I'm basically a monkey.
Did they have any direction? Did you already have the Chinese voice actors delivery, or was there any?
I did, yes.
Okay,
I did.
so you knew. Did they want you to like interpret that completely on your own?
They didn't want me to do like a copy.
Yeah.
What you do often, usually with localizations, I've done these before, you play the original because it just also helps you get the vibe. They didn't want like it to sound like a monkey, but it has this quality, and the character is, you know, a mischievous kind of. He's not a traditional hero who is, yes, I'm here to save you, you know? This is my
He's a trickster.
hero.
Can you teach me to do the laugh?
Easy, you can do it. It's about also your posture, right? So you just kind of relax into it. Just think that everybody else around here is really nothing to you. Okay. It doesn't really matter. They could say stuff, you know, but you know, if they want to fight you, you know, then they have no chance, you know. So just get that as an attitude in there, and then I guess it's all up in here.
It's high.
It's up in here, and just think of the most ridiculous thing, you know, like Johnny, you little cookie, want to fight me? Johnny? Ridiculous.
So it starts like quite high with the mouth closed, and then it kind of goes when you open your mouth into a chortle, because it's like, there's kind of like,
good.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Nobody can do it but me.
Sun Wukong 2.
Sun Wukong. Who are you? Actually, it's my clone.
Have you fought yourself yet? Have you fought non-white and green cap? And
I actually have.
And how'd you get on?
I kicked their butts. And I did both of them in one stream.
Oh,
I didn't know that. I didn't
realize they was that close together.
They're both in chapter 3. No.
Right.
Yes! I defeated you, you annoying voiced weird one.
Talking about how gaming changed your life, what was your earliest gaming memory? Are they that good?
I just got emotional. These are just so good. I'm sorry, like Maryland cookies you drive.
Yeah.
They're just the right level of soft and
soft and crunchy.
And crunchy.
Country man, you've done it again.
Country man.
Earliest gaming memory, the first kind of game that you fell in love with.
2 games came to mind: Ultima 9 Ascension.
Right. Okay.
And Outcast. But they have the 2 of them changed my perspective on what games could be, because they're both characters that live in this world, and they get transported into another world. And also both games have like beautifully told stories. The graphics and the story, the voice acting, all of it, it was just so, like, it really transported you into another world. It was a beautiful game.
How has your gaming taste changed as you've grown up? Like, where are you gravitating towards now?
To be perfectly honest, I'm actually rediscovering that a little bit, because I played a lot of games growing up, and then when I was in my 20s, you know, I went to uni. I studied economics actually first, and
sexy.
I know, thank you. I wasn't very good at self-control in terms of making sure I don't play too much and still do my studies.
Yeah, welcome to being a student.
Exactly. If I'm going to be able to do my studies and do these things, I think I have to put games to the side. Fair. And it was the same when eventually I decided I want to be an actor, moving to London and stuff. I actually always had a Mac. I was always a PC gamer, but I always had then a Mac computer, and it, you know, didn't allow me to play games.
That's a great strategy for not playing games.
Exactly. Get a Mac, get the machine that doesn't play any games, you know? And, you know, you could just play emulated old games or something.
So and something you're coming back to now, then, really?
I actually only bought a gaming laptop again this year.
What was the first game that you played on it?
I think I played God of War, actually.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. That's like a nice little test of it. So that's a really interesting thing.
Garçon!
Oh, coffee's on
Merci beaucoup.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Black coffee with soy. Let's try this.
Ooh, beautiful.
That's quite nice. I'm not a massive coffee drinker, but that's actually quite nice. No.
So some people might hate me for this or something, but I used to just order a soya latte.
Yeah.
And then eventually, the truth is like soya or latte or cappuccino, I don't really get anymore. Because they just put extra air in it. And I get less coffee. So, and I'm just like...
So you're still an economics student at heart. You're like, hold on.
I get less material and you just put that in. Like, and so that's...
Now that the coffees are here, should we try the main event?
Oh my God.
Right, what's the name of this again?
Shiroi Koibito.
I'm not even gonna try. That is just a slab of white chocolate.
It actually looks like cheese when you right? Like it actually when you look at it, I don't know which camera. They both are mine. Like,
yeah.
So you think like what?
That is just solid white chocolate.
But it is. It's the most beautiful. It's the most delicious cheese you could ever imagine.
Oh my! Wow.
It's so good.
That is incredibly light and fluffy. Wow.
It's so good.
Okay, right.
What are we? What?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. We need to focus. Is there anything that you've realized in the last couple of years that you're like, like advice-wise that you would give people who want to get into acting or voice acting in video games or mocap in video games?
I think one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten was like, don't make acting your life, because otherwise, if you don't have acting, you feel like you don't have an identity. You feel like you're nothing.
Your only
you're
thing.
worthless. Yeah. Exactly. So you got to make sure you have a good social life. All these other things.
Other passions.
Particularly for video games, I think. First of all, play games. I know what a first-person shooter is, or an immersive MMO or whatever. There's styles, right, to games where sometimes they're more campy, sometimes they're more realistic. Then when you're doing the auditions, especially when it's the campy stuff or something, you just got to go for it. You can't hold like. Wukong
it is what it is.
Is not a. That voice is not like a realistic everyday, hey, what are you doing? Like, I was really feeling sad.
It's an over-the-top fantasy god that's a monkey.
Exactly.
That's just ridiculous.
You can't hold yourself back,
So,
I think, so that's what I would say.
When you were, like, the first couple of years, when you were looking for work and you were, like, trying to get acting work, what's the worst jobs that you had? Were you stuffing mattresses? Were you frying onions?
The day job I've been doing through most of my acting career, I've been an Uber driver.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So basically after drama school, I was like, what is the job that I could do? What they always say is like, do something you can pick up at any point and that you can drop at any point. You gotta have, I think, a job that means you can survive and still go to auditions, do your training, work on your stuff. But for me, Uber driving was like, I have no problem dropping it. Because
somebody says, you need to be here in an hour. You're like,
I'm like, yep, I'll drop off that person. I'll be like, all right,
I'm off the clock. Done.
And like, it was easy, you know? To me, I probably wouldn't be an actor anymore if I didn't have that.
Have you got any funny Uber stories?
I did have somebody throw up in a car before. I did have, like a puppy throw up, a baby throw up, lots of throw up. With the puppy and the baby, you're kind of like, all right, you can't control it. With the grown man, you're like, dude, you're in your late 30s, maybe 40s. Like, control yourself.
There's a window. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible.
In your childhood, if there was a game from your childhood, you could delete from your memory, like remove it, and then get yourself to play it. To be like, this is the best gaming experience. I wish I could experience this all over again.
Half-Life was a stunning game. Oh, actually, maybe Deus Ex.
Oh, we'd never really had that kind of
anything like that before.
Future sci-fi fantasy Blade Runner thing, but then also the story was amazing and the mechanics were amazing, and it just.
And then also because it was like an RPG in a way that you could this thing of solving problems in many different ways, right? You can either shoot your way through it, or you can be a spy or something and put points
in
your
key card and grab somebody, or there's like, you see a vent, you're like, can I get up there? And then you could.
Exactly, stuff like that. But maybe again, also Outcast, I think I really love that game.
Give me a hot gaming take that you have that might get you cancelled.
Oh dear, no one needs consoles.
Oh, that's a good one! That's a good one, no!
I've never had a console, so that's why I say that, I guess. I don't know. I had, my first actually was a Game Boy. I had the original Game Boy, which my mom hid from me.
Good mom, well done mom.
I think I only found it again like 10 years later.
Oh, so she hid it really well.
She really hid and she didn't
Mark,
return it.
you need to study for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I was like, well, where's the Game Boy? And eventually I think I stopped asking and it was just gone. And I found it years later in this drawer or something. It's like, what?
Do you know
this is weird. What?
I bet you the battery still worked. You turned it, I was like, hey, it's still good.
I don't know why.
No,
I guess when you had a PC, you just didn't really...
It's a fair argument. I mean, you're going to get ruined in the comments.
It's fine if you like consoles.
Get him in the comments.
Okay.
Going back to like playing games with like friends of your childhood and stuff, is there a game that you think that you could beat 90% of the people at? Like, is there a game that you used to play with your mates and you were like, that is my jam?
I tell you what.
Come at me.
When we played Half-Life, I still remember, when I was like 14 or something, me and my friends, we had a LAN party and we played Half-Life. And I was just running around and killing them left and right. It was
Crowbarring people in the back of the head. Half-Life.
I was pretty damn good at that. I want to pick it up again, actually. And
I also bet you a bunch of people, because nobody would have played like Half-Life multiplayer in freaking ages.
Yeah.
So if you did get a bunch of people to play it, they'd just be like, what is this? And you're like going around. Like,
having said that, it is like 25 years ago that we had this LAN party or something. so I might be a little rusty.
We've talked about this a bit already, but like, is there a favorite game character or like brilliant piece of acting?
Christopher Judge, who that's like next level. I love him because I watched him in Stargate SG-1. It was
as Teal'c.
That was actually one of my favorite shows. He had such an amazing character in that. It's really conflicted, right? And
for me, like he is like, don't get me wrong, as Kratos is amazing, but for me, there's a certain generation where I'm like, no, he's Teal'c. And if I ever got his autograph or met him, I'd be talking about that.
Stargate SG-1, man, that was amazing. But then in gaming, in both gaming and TV, I think that's like, wow. I really respect.
Looking out into this industry, a lot of people feel that, if you just work hard enough on your own, then if you're good enough, like Christopher Judge, then you'll just make it. But we know that that's not the case. There's so many people who's helped you get here today, apart from your mum hiding your Game Boy.
There's so many people. Chris Hopkins, I think, is the producer who asked me to audition for Great Ace Attorney. And at the time, I had no voice credits. The reason why he knew me during COVID, a lot of people asked me, how do I get into mocap? How do I get into mocap? Yeah. And at some point, basically, I had enough. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna give a Zoom talk and talk about how to get into mocap, and then you'll stop asking me. And we just spoke, Chris talked about voiceovers and I talked about mocap. Yeah. I thought nothing of it, and Chris was very nice, and he was like, if you send me your stuff, if something comes up, I'll think of you.
And you're like, great, cool.
And didn't think of anything of it. And when that came up, he contacted me and he said, like, do you have anything you can send me? Any samples, anything? Yeah. And if not, can you record something?
Get under your duvet.
Literally. And then he said, like, can you record something young RP hero type or something? And I was like, all right,
So you went from zero voiceover credits to doing the lead in Ace Attorney.
Yeah. And that was amazing. Like when it comes to kind of like, I guess, breaks or something like that in that way, that was a big deal.
But you also had to, you did something for that. Like you're like, no, I'm going to do a Zoom talk.
I didn't do that talk with the expectation of, I'm going to get a job out of this. It was literally just that, all right, I have some time, I can offer something.
You did it to help other people.
Exactly.
Not even to help yourself.
Exactly.
And again, it's that catch-22. As soon as your foot's in the door,
it helps,
especially the Ace Attorney thing, you're just like, you can show that to the people and they're like, oh, okay.
And then there's Marta Svetek, she's a voice actor, and she recommended me to her voice agent at the time. Because sometimes you can think, acting is very cutthroat and everybody's out for themselves and stuff. And the truth is, it can be if you look at it that way. I get asked for recommendations all the time, and if we help each other out, I think then we're all richer for it, hopefully.
So, where can we find you on socials? And kind of what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, very simple. It's just Mark Takeshi Ota. And I'm on Twitch. Been streaming Great Ace Attorney.
Wukong
Wednesdays, and usually Great Ace Attorney on Sundays. I'm working on a game.
You are working on stuff at the moment.
I can't say what. I've just done an audio book. Yeah, follow me on my socials and I'll tell you when it comes out.
Tell us about the audio book.
Yeah. So I just recorded an audio book. It's called 100 Flowers, and it's a really beautiful novel by a Japanese author called Genki Kawamura.
Yeah.
And it's about a man whose mother has Alzheimer's, and kind of basically the journey they go through together. And It's really beautiful and quite moving. So,
right, I think I'm going to kick us out of here. So we get to take one plate each. Which one do you want?
One plate?
Yeah, you just take the plate. You're going to take that one? Right, I'll take this one. I don't plate. Hey, I love some country, ma'am.
Well, we can share them.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's go.
Yeah, yum, yum, yum.